guys are amazing. We thank you so much for walking with us today.
Welcome. Our pleasure.
The walk started off with a very simple mission, and that's continue. Beyond any other thing that we're doing, beyond talking about huge challenges like what's going on in Africa with AIDS and extreme poverty and those that are struggling, what we're doing with the walks is the most essential part is the fact that we're all reminding one another that we can really make an impact by doing simple things. The whole barefoot idea of taking your shoes off simply goes back to the fact that, you know, when you take your shoes off, when you think about that individual thing that we can all sort of share as a common thread.
Common tie.
It reminds you that there's so many other little things that we take for granted, things that we don't think would actually make a difference, that we have available to us to give and to use. Last year with Tom's, we said, well, let's just do one pair of shoes at a time. If we can figure out how to give a pair of shoes one at a time, then each of us can begin to see how this one-for-one mentality can begin to change the world, how we can begin to help those with very little by doing something that doesn't make life completely uncomfortable for us. It's not about asking you guys to become humanitarians overnight. It's about becoming, living up to your own potential with what you do every day. The goal with the walk around the world and this whole tour was that we saw how many people were coming out, and we've already had thousands of you guys join us. I mean, think about all the people that you guys walked with us last year, those that walked with us last year, who walked again when we were here. So you guys are such an awesome example because here you are again. You're joining us for the second time. And, and I wanted to say the other thing about this walk is, the thing about just doing it on the sides of the streets and not getting barricades and walking down Main Street and having all these, all these official things that we could be doing when we do like a big charity walk, is we want you guys to realize that this is something that we can all do. This is a gathering of people, and this is a simple demonstration. But the reason we walk is when we finish this walk, you guys can realize how many simple ways you already have available to you to make a difference. The issues in Africa, somebody was asking me as we were walking, well, and this comes up a lot of times, is, well, what about what's going on at home? What about what's going on here, as opposed to focusing on issues in Africa? Well, for one, you already are doing something at home, because by showing up, by deciding to think a little bit outside of your own box, and by outside the perception of people around you, we've realized that we can make a difference in our communities. And I can't tell you how many awesome people have come to us and said, you know what, I'm doing something for a local AIDS group, or I'm doing something for a homeless shelter in my own town. That's what we're unlocking. That's what the walk is about, is we're unlocking our fear of inadequacy, our fear of not being able to do anything. But looking at Africa and the issues there with AIDS and with extreme poverty on top of each other are a lethal combination that the world has never seen before. And it's targeting us on another continent, our generation, and the future generations, those that are kids that are born with a disease that they have no choice in. They're born with a disease that gives them 3 years to live. And the idea of extreme poverty, somebody that's living on less than $1 a day, there's no comparison to that in this country. The challenge of the walks is whether we can look at things that are not absolutely necessary and begin to use the privileges that we have to help other people. Even at a time where we're all nervous thinking about all the economic things that are happening right now, and we're electing a new president, and all these things, these are actually, in comparison to so much of the world, these are small concerns. These are things we still have so many opportunities available to us. And you know what? We have the ability to pick ourselves back up and to be able to continue to prosper, continue to do more for one another. So when we walk today, you guys, you need to remember that you are not the average. You are not common in the world. You are exceptional. You guys are above, head and shoulders above so many because of the opportunities you've been given and the ability to say, I can give a pair of shoes, I can take a day out, and I can walk this mile. I can buy a concert ticket. I can buy 10 concert tickets.
Yeah.
I can buy a walk bus thing. Big shout out to the walk bus people here. So we finished this walk, and this is not about how we're gonna feel guilty. This is not about how we're gonna walk away and tell other people how they need to do so many things differently and how we're all spoiled. This is about how we should use whatever we have to give back and make a difference. And this is not going to be, hey, tomorrow you need to start a nonprofit. This is about just challenging yourself and saying, what simple things can I do? Maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe it'll be a year from now, maybe it'll be a conversation. But ultimately, we have the opportunity to do great things with a simple decision.
At the beginning of this walk, Taylor said we've reached our first goal. 250 mothers, which is our first goal, now have access to medical technology, which allows them to stay in constant contact with their doctor. The reason why this is important is because so many people in places across Africa do not have home addresses or home